In this episode of the RV Small Talk podcast, we're just going to shoot the breeze on the humidity that we live in and what it does for us as RVers, what it doesn't do for us. I took my frizzy hair and all. So humidity, that'll be a topic.
And then what?
But the important part that we're going to talk about is converters.
Converter, I hardly know her.
We get to talk to Todd from WFCO, and he's going to talk to us about, I don't know, converters, what they do, and some of the new stuff that's out there connecting to the lithium. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm telling you, folks, converters sound boring, but really what they can do for you more so now.
Well, y'all hang in there because it's really pretty fun.
Well, once again, this week, we'd like to do a shout out to our friends at the Truck Camper magazine. That's right, Truck Camper magazine. They do all the things from showing you the how-tos, the what-fors, and the where-to-goes. They have stories that are submitted in, and it's like this massive curated mess of what you need to know and what you need to inspire you to go.
Okay, they might be insulted with the massive curated mess.
No, curated is a good word. It's a smart word.
But it's tons of fun to keep up with Truck Camper magazine. All right, so y'all keep up with Truck Camper magazine. It's free. You get to see lots of cool things, learn a little bit, even if you don't have a truck camper.
Yeah.
See some great adventures. Check it out. truckcampermagazine.com.
And they are on the Facebooks, so you can find them there. But I'm telling you, go to their website and sign up to their email. Every single one is valuable. truckcampermagazine.com.
Welcome to RV Small Talk, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. My name is Lindsay.
I'm Clint.
And I'm PJ, and we thank you so much for joining us today.
Let's go.
All right.
But it's so humid.
It is so humid.
Well, we live in humid, and I think that there's various pockets around the U.S. where that is the general sentiment. And I know that in South Texas, where I grew up, absolutely. It felt like 80% humidity all the time. Where we are in Central Texas is pretty humid. You always hear about Florida. You always hear about Georgia humidity. And I think anywhere that has any access to the coast.
Right. I grew up in Houston, and oh my gosh.
It seems like that helped in the 80s, though, because everyone wanted the big poofy hair.
No. Well, I grew up in the 70s where everybody wanted the straight, sleek hair.
Yeah.
Hard to do.
The Joni Mitchell
Hard to do,
hair?
yes. Hard to do in 80% humidity. But we're not here to talk about our hair. We're here to talk about camping, campers, that stuff.
So things are humid.
Things are humid.
Super humid.
What do we do about it?
Well, let's talk about our hatred of it first.
Oh, no. 100% hate it.
How much we hate it.
However, I would prefer humid over cold, so I'm good.
Well,
wait.
You can have humid cold.
Yeah, the thing is when it's hot and it's humid, it feels even hotter and yuckier. And if it's cold and it's humid, it feels even colder.
It feels clammier to me. So if it's cold and humid, I feel more clammy. And if it's hot and humid, it's sticky and it
But if you have to go camping, do you like it when it's hot and humid or cold and humid?
Hot.
Mild and 75 and humid.
with a light breeze. Next to the water.
I mean, if I have to have humid, I still want the temperature to be nice.
If I get a choice in weather, then it's not going to be either of those.
Well, but humidity affects your RV and your experience in so many ways. I mean, it can really mess with you. So let's take, for instance, your bedding situation. Humidity can cause you problems by collecting underneath your mattress.
Yeah. And because humidity happens inside the camper whenever you have warm air on the inside and usually cool air on the outside, then you have condensation. Or if it's hot and it's humid, there's just extra water everywhere.
Yeah.
And then it's all over everything. So, none of us want water inside the camper.
No, you get that kind of stale funk or whatever going on in your camper.
Yeah.
Oftentimes it's due to the humidity that's trapped in there and lack of moving air. And if you have humidity and any kind of warmth at all, then you're inviting the molds and the mildews and things like that.
Ew, should I check under my mattress?
You might. You know what? In some situations, you might find a way to prop it up. You know, when you're not using it to allow airflow.
I know there's a couple different systems that like do just that. They lift your mattress kind of
Like the Froley system or
Precisely.
Froley. What? I still don't know how to say that.
Froley.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the cool thing is it comes in a little box and they're all little snap together pieces.
Right.
I never knew that until recently when we added one. So it just gives you that little cushion of air.
Wait, did you add one to your camper?
I did not.
Oh.
But I might.
You might, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
Very
so
cool.
those are helpful.
So airflow affects obviously your mattress, which if that gets any kind of mold or mildew in it, I mean, yikes, folks, and you're sleeping on it. And if you have any kind of sensitivities or allergies, that's a problem. But then it also goes into your clothing, because a lot of people keep their clothing stored in their trailer.
Well, everything gets musty and the stuff that's stuck together gets musty. I mean, let's even talk about the wallboard. If you have wallboard, sometimes the seam tape that holds it all together
the adhesive
starts coming off. I mean, there is glue in every camper. And if it gets damp, then it can let go. Things kind of curl up. The musty sets in. So, all right, the best thing to do is just keep humidity out, right?
Okay.
So how do you do that?
Move.
Go camp in the desert, right?
Yeah.
Don't camp where it's humid.
Okay, so here's a question for you. Do you know, and I did not know until recently, is it a hygrometer?
Yeah, hygrometer. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what a hygrometer is? Did you know?
It's a tool. It doesn't come to mind often.
Have you met this guy? Of course he knows what a hygrometer is.
Mr. Nerd.
It just tells you what the humidity percentage is, basically.
Yeah, but I would have thought that just is a thing that tells you what the humidity
Just
is.
Google it.
Google it.
Google the humidity?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just look on my weather app. It tells me.
Well,
right?
you know, the nice thing about hygrometer is if you had a potentially humid environment 2 weeks ago in Texas when we had no power and no cell service or no data, you could still know
How humid it was.
Yeah, well, maybe not if you didn't have any power. Maybe it's battery powered. Then you would know.
But I guess if you Google it, it's going to tell you the environment, but it doesn't tell you about inside your camper.
Exactly.
So if you have a water leak or something, you might be more humid inside than you are outside.
Easily. Yeah.
Or the temperature changes and inside's different temperature than the outside.
Well, this happens very often in small trailers that may not have a standard propane furnace system. Like mine doesn't. So I have a little Mr. Heater Buddy heater, and it runs off those propane canisters. Fantastic. Love it. It does a great job. It has one setback to me.
It's propane, so it creates humidity.
It actually introduces a lot of humidity into the inside of the trailer while it's running.
Okay, so you need to get one of those little weather stations that will tell you what the humidity is inside your camper. Because you want the humidity inside your camper to be less than 50%.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's the bottom? Less than 50% is kind of like the top of comfortable.
Well, when it gets like down to 20 or 25,
then it starts feeling dry, right?
Your skin starts
Your
cracking,
eyes are hard
and it's
to
just
blink.
It's desert.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
I think
desert.
so. Yeah.
30 to 50 is generally what people say is humanly comfortable. So, and some people like it above 50. Like just they're more comfortable with high
those are
humidity.
Salty sea sailors.
But you really don't want that inside your camper. Yeah.
Vikings only.
That's my kind of people.
Okay, so I have a question I just thought about. So campers that are made a specific way or with specific materials, would they naturally have more humidity than other campers?
I wonder.
So
what do you mean?
A camper that is, like wood frame and aluminum stapled to it, would it have more or less humidity than something that was like a vacuum bonded wall?
I wonder if maybe not so much that it would naturally have it, other than it might be more inviting to condensation.
Right. I don't think it would change the humidity. I mean, humidity is what's in the air.
Right.
But if it's a better insulated trailer versus a not so well insulated trailer,
then the temperatures won't adjust as quickly.
Maybe.
So like a more well insulated trailer might have more humidity because
less because the outside air isn't affecting the inside air as much.
but the outside air is going to be drastically different than the inside air because
I'm so confused.
Yeah. But those windows.
But if you had thermal pane windows, if you had a double pane, then the inside air isn't directly against the outside air, so you're not going to have as much condensation.
Yeah.
So
now, this is all theoretical, folks. We are no experts.
So it's like when SpongeBob is under the sea and he goes into Sandy's house, but Sandy's a squirrel, so she has to live in an air bubble. So he has to go into the middle ground and then let the water out of that, and then they can open the other door. So it's like
an airlock, but it's a water lock.
Yes. Like that?
That's so helpful, Lindsay. Thank you so much.
No, I think a certain small, minuscule percentage of our listening audience will get that. And
I think I
am an adult.
Over the edge. You are both
I'm an
over
adult.
the edge.
I got this.
I think there's things that create humidity inside your trailer, and there's things that help it.
You know, another thing that creates humidity inside your trailer is actually us.
Breathing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We breathe out moisture all the time.
So we need like a tube that goes up through the ceiling, and we can just breathe through that
just
when
a
we're in our
snorkel.
trailer. A snorkel.
I can think of a SpongeBob reference for that. Just give me a second.
I gotta find a way to use SpongeBob in the thumbnail.
Oh, well, you remember the podcast where we did the SpongeBob or country song?
Yes.
Or
That
campground.
was a train wreck.
It was not.
a
It
fun
was
train
so
wreck.
fun.
That was still the best
so
episode
fun.
we've ever done.
Okay, I mean,
You think that's the
arguably,
best?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was pretty fun.
Because it had little to do with anything.
Yes.
Okay, so what else
Okay.
can we do about this humidity? It's because we live in a humid area and we tend to travel to, humid areas.
Stop breathing.
Okay, noted.
Well, a
Crack a
more
window?
solid trailer, dual pane windows helps. Cracking a vent or cracking a window, using electric heat source if you can, and not your propane heat source, because that creates humidity.
And it's also what type of process that heater uses. Because
Yes.
a standard forced air furnace isn't going to put as much as like the buddy heater.
Well, yeah, it is, because it's propane. It creates a lot of humidity too.
Humidity? Oh, I didn't realize it was as much. Okay.
Yeah, it's still terrible. And we all cook. If you cook inside, that
Steam.
always creates a little more humidity. So, I mean, there's things you can do to try to
I once cooked a
keep
brick
that.
and it added no humidity.
No humidity?
No steam, no nothing.
Yeah. We
How
worry
long
about
did
you,
that
Clint.
take?
I don't know, but I tell you what, I have never had toast so
Did it taste
difficult
good?
to- Never mind.
But yeah, but there's ways to, if you have something that tells you what the humidity is, then you'll know whether you need to get out your dehumidifier, and they make little ones you can take with you.
Yeah.
So if you're plugged in at a campsite, you just plug that in for a little while, bring it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Or they make those
Those little rock things,
those little things full of pebbles. What do
Yeah.
they call them?
dehumidifiers.
Well, they don't, because that's usually something electric. But
Yeah, so you hang them up and
They're like
the beads
moisture absorption
soak up the
things.
water. Yeah.
I just don't know. Do those? I've never felt like I would trust those to do any kind of.
Well,
job.
if you need something quick,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to fix it in
Just stick
30
some of those
minutes.
pebbles under your arm and you're
But
good to go.
overnight, it is going to take some moisture out of the air. But if it's constantly coming in, if you open the door and it's raining outside, probably not going to save you.
So are those
But
bags more for like storage, like when your unit
usually,
is in storage?
yeah, better for storage.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, good to have around, especially if you have some areas that get more moisture,
Do they
like
call
the
that
bathroom.
Desiccant? Is that what they call those little packages that come in your whatever you buy? and
The
they
little
give-
silica gel
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
I don't know.
I wonder if it's the same category.
I think it is. But those things are super cheap.
Mm-hmm.
And it's super cheap to get refills to put in them. So, if you're going to take a shower in your trailer, stick
Yeah.
one of those in your shower when
Yeah.
you're done.
And if you're taking a shower,
Super
that's going to
easy.
add all kinds of humidity. So
open the
that
vent and
vent it out straight
just
out.
try to keep that door shut. Let it go somewhere else.
Yeah, they put vents in bathrooms for a reason.
A reason. And if you don't have a fantastic fan near your shower,
then you have an okay fan.
then you have a Yeah, an okay fan. And a fantastic fan is better than an okay fan.
Because it's fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm a
Anyway,
fan.
I mean, something to pay attention to. That's what we were talking about in the office this week, so we thought we'd bring it up.
Well, we talk about these sort of things because first it's humid and our air conditioning's being replaced for the past 2-3 weeks.
And so it's so humid in here, we
We've
got
had
no
some-
airflow.
Yeah, we've been hot, we've been cold, and we've been humid the whole time.
That's right. All right. I'm going to get a how you say that?
Hygrometer?
That's not what it is.
Hydro.
Come on, what is that word? Hygrometer.
That's
what I said.
exactly what he
I
said.
thought you said hydrometer. Sorry. Okay.
Hygrometer.
I'm learning, guys. I'm going to get a hygrometer.
Although hydrometer makes more sense because hydro water.
I bet that's a thing. It just does something else. Really.
And they're like, oh man, we already used that word.
All right,
Yeah.
comments. Y'all help us out.
Let's just replace that D with a G. Nobody will notice.
Yeah,
Is that what happened?
it's
I'm
like
sure
the
that's what happened,
It's like
Lindsay.
the medical teams are out there going, I need a name for this this malady.
It's like a meter.
Oh, goodness.
But
For-
the asteroid has already been named, so we have to call it a hemorrhoid.
What? What? Okay.
Let's name it Tim.
How about if we talk to Todd and learn about converters?
Yes.
Something
yes.
useful.
Get me out of this conversation.
Something useful. All right, y'all, hang on.
Save me.
Here comes the good stuff.
You're fine.
But I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming by and chatting with us because it's a great opportunity for us.
Absolutely, and I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Gary sprung it on me yesterday that I was going to be on here today.
Well,
so.
we didn't want you to go out and buy new clothes.
Surprise.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't want you to dress up and, do your makeup, all that.
No.
I needed to wait till he landed in Austin before I sprung it on him.
You didn't give him an option?
No.
Oh, okay.
Leaving the airport, he's like, by the way, we're going to be doing a podcast
Perfect.
tomorrow. So I'm like, really? Okay.
Well, as we get started here, let's go ahead and introduce the two of you. Okay, so we have Todd Vice.
Correct.
And you are a representative with WFCO, WFCO, which,
World Friendship Company. That's what WFCO stands for.
It's what again?
World Friendship Company.
Well, we may or may not dive into that.
We're probably better off not diving into it because I can't lead you down any other path other than that's the name of the company.
There you go.
Really?
And
We have to do some homework, Clint. We have to figure this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, sure. And
World
don't-
Friendship Company? I mean, we ought to be like saving the whales or feeding starving children or something.
Well, it sounds
Like all holding hands and singing Kumbaya.
As I lived in Asia, you would have these Asian companies, and they would have a name like LG. And like, what's LG? You figure something big. It's just life's good or something that means something like that. And so,
It's like Three Brothers Company or something.
right. A lot of the
name.
telecom companies had these weird acronyms, and you find out that it just means something friendly.
Well, WFCO is weird enough, right? WFCO?
Yeah, but it's fun to say.
Because first thing you think of is a wiffle ball.
No, that's what you think of.
WFCO.
But
WFCO. I don't know
whatever.
what I think of.
Okay. Well, we also have Gary Weaver here. All right. And we've had you on the show before as we talked about various products. And why do we have you here?
Well,
Why are you here?
I just happen to stop by and I get coffee and you guys bring me in.
Yeah.
Which worked out in our favor this time because you brought Todd.
Yeah.
And we have pretty good coffee.
You got great coffee here, so I love coming in. No, I work for a company called, obviously, you guys know, Dealer Resources Group, and we represent several factories in the RV industry. So I'm kind of the jack of all trades, but when you need an expert, I bring in someone like Todd Vice to really
Pressure's on,
He called me an expert.
Pressure
Wow.
is
Yes.
on.
And we looked at WFCO when we brought them on as a contractor representing them, and we really liked these guys. Obviously, they make converters that in the RV, which we'll probably talk about here in a little bit.
Well, how can you not like them? They're the World Friendship Company.
Yeah. So obviously
There
they
you
were
go.
great to work with.
Right.
But they were in 9 out of 10 of the manufacturers in Elkhart. So there's a
Precisely.
lot of them out there.
So 9 out of 10 manufacturers use WFCO
We'll have a
products.
WFCO in that unit.
Okay,
So-
wow.
But
And
That's
that
a
goes back
lot.
a long time. That seems like I've looked at a lot of units over the past few years, and it's a standard for years, right? WFCO?
And that's a great point, and that's one of the things we look at when we're looking at a company. We look at the longevity of that company, and they've been around since 1976. And it's a family-owned company still to this day.
Wow.
Which is another thing we look at. But then the other thing that we kind of dive into for a company that would probably be interested for your viewers is we don't want a Me Too company. We want someone that's really ahead of the market, and they have 25 first in innovative designs in converters.
Well, nobody has even said what WFCO does. Surely it's in a title somewhere, but what are we talking about here?
We don't know.
Obviously not beaded friendship bracelets,
let's convert
right?
them from not knowing to knowing. Okay. So let's talk about, first off, the big deal is a converter does what for your RVer?
So it's going to take your 110. So you're going to plug into your shore power
or generator.
You're going to take that 110 and convert it into 12 volt to run all your 12 volt appliances with inside your RV.
Now that sounds really good if you know RVs and you're already 100% there. But if you're not, like people listen or are trying to learn online, converters, inverters, it all gets so confusing.
All right. So basically, if you're at home, you have 110 volt power. That's what's running your appliances. That's what's running your house. That's
what your wall sockets provide.
Your wall sockets providing.
Household current.
Household current is basically the way to think about it. So
AC is what they call household current.
So we're going to take that and we're going to turn it into DC power, which is 12 volt, which is what the majority of all your RV appliances are, is 12 volt. So you have to have a converter to change your 110 to 12 volt to run the 12 volt appliances. And then an inverter does just the opposite. So we're going to take it from the 110 to the 12 volt, and then we're going to take it back to an inverter, and we're going to convert it to 110 to run the appliances inside of RV.
Okay, even my head's spinning, and I do this every day. Okay, so a converter takes the household current or plugging in at the park and changes it to battery power.
Not battery power, because you actually don't even need a battery to run a converter.
Right, but the converter converts it to battery
12 volt
12 volt
appliances
type of power.
Correct.
Because appliances, a lot of them run 12 volt. Pretty much everything in a trailer is 12 volt.
For the most part, yes.
Microwaves, maybe not.
Microwave, air conditioner, and the household plugs. Pretty much everything else can run on 12 volt, like a refrigerator, or it runs on 12 volt in conjunction with gas, propane.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
So every trailer has a converter.
Correct.
Because when you plug in at shore power, you want it to continuously feed your lights, your, water heater, your water pump. What else is there?
You're going to have your toggle switches for your awnings, your slide outs.
Oh, right.
All that's going to be included with your 12 volt power in order to operate the unit.
So if you don't have a converter,
you're not going to operate anything in this RV.
Your batteries are going to die, and
your batteries
shore
are
power
go
is not
very
going to
quickly.
work.
Yep.
Okay. So hopefully that clears up a little bit of that, because converters can be really confusing.
It can, and when people start thinking, the only thing on an inverter side, the majority of what an inverter is doing inside an RV is running a household refrigerator, is becoming more and more popular because of the size of them. And then there are a lot of 12 volt appliance refrigerators out there that can run that are bigger. But that is primarily what our inverter, when it's being used inside a unit now, is being used for a household refrigerator.
Can we put a link in the show notes?
Absolutely.
Is there a place that people can go to see this product?
Absolutely. Our website, I'll be honest with you, our website is as good as there is in the industry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's terrible.
No.
I thought you were going to say, you make an excuse for it.
Nope.
It's all relative. Have you seen the rest of the industry?
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. All right. That's fair.
I mean, we have catalogs that we hand out to the dealerships are bar none. The amount of information, it's unbelievable.
Okay, but I'm not an engineer. I mean, and I realize, okay, I want to just put it out there. I am the woman in this room, but I'm pretty smart, and I get most of this stuff.
Well, don't sell yourself short.
I am not selling. I am doing just the opposite.
You have totally worked on the other side of that firewall over there in the service center, and
I am.
pulled off some miracles.
Thank you. I am doing the exact opposite, saying that I am not the dumb blonde in the room. But if it comes to learning about this, I might need some extra help. And so your website is going to teach me what I need to know
The
and
website,
whether this will do what I need.
Catalogs. We have an 800 number that you can call into, and we actually have 8 engineers that have designed these products, they build these products, they live and breathe these products for 50 plus years experience amongst that group. And they will take your calls within a minute and a half, generally, so long as I've seen anybody ever wait on hold, and they get an expert to talk to.
I am so impressed.
And by the way, the retail customer can also call that number.
Yes.
That's just not to dealers. That's also for the retail customer as well.
Awesome. So all of this will be in the show notes, Clint.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he will make it happen. So that if you
Absolutely.
guys want to know more about these things, just go on down to the show notes and we'll have some links there for you.
I tell you
That's
what-
incredible. I am so glad to learn this.
I tell you what I
Didn't know.
like about their customer service department. You know, you call into some factories I represent, and the people behind the customer service has got a catalog, and they'll go, okay, this is wrong. This is how I answer it, which leads me to how I answer this. These guys at WFCO are the actual guys that work on them. They test them. They do field tests at the factories in Elkhart. So when you call them, they're not going by a catalog. They know what you're talking about,
right.
And they're
It's their baby. They know it.
they're a great group there. We've dealt with
That is
them.
impressive. Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to know everything you do. I didn't
There you
know
go.
that. I just thought you were converters.
So if you want that kind of support and you don't have a WFCO product in your trailer, it's time to move over to WFCO.
Well, and again, that's one of the things that we offer not only on our websites and our catalog, and we hand out just we call cross-reference sheets. We hand out to our customers. So if a retail customer comes in your store and they've got a competitive product, we've got a list of all competitive products and ours models side by side. So you can literally look at this list and say, okay, you know what? I don't have that particular model in inventory, but I have this WFCO brand. And this right here matches up with it perfectly. You know, you can exchange it out very easily.
Okay, you at WFCO, what is the buzz most recently?
Lithium.
Oh, it's
It is the buzz
in
here too.
the entire industry. Okay, but how does lithium play into what you do and what you bring to the table?
All right. So again, we have anywhere between 90 and 95% of the OEM business. So with that, we're already supplying them a standard converter. A lot of them have already switched over to our lithium converters now. Because if you have a lithium battery, you need a lithium charger or lithium converter in order to charge your lithium battery to 100%.
Why is that?
It's a charge rhythm. So
Charge rhythm.
Charge rhythm. So the charge rhythm on a standard converter to
Charge rhythm.
Yeah. Gotta get your beat going here.
Tempo.
So
Oh, I forgot there's video.
yeah.
Okay.
So your standard converter charges at a 14 point. When it goes into bulk mode, it goes into a 14.4 charge rhythm to
Okay.
charge the battery, and that's how you get it to charge up to 100%.
On a standard lead
Standard.
acid,
Yep, lead acid.
AGM.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go to a lithium battery, you need to have a 14.6 charge rhythm.
That
in
little
order-
bit of difference?
That little bit of difference in order to take it. The maximum we've ever gotten a standard converter to take a lithium battery is 90%. Never get it to charge anything over that.
So you
Okay.
paid all this money for a lithium battery.
Right.
Now you're charging it only to 90%. Now that's the new normal for that battery.
Well, and some of these lithium batteries hold a lot of power, so 10%'s
It's a big deal,
It's-
and you're paying
it's a
some.
big
That's
deal.
why you buy a lithium.
That's
It's
right.
100%.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, I have a question. If you said that if you charge only to 80, 85, 90%, that's the new normal, does that mean that lithium after that it has a memory and it no longer can charge to 100%?
And it varies on batteries.
Okay.
But that is the norm on most of them, is after a period of time of charging it significantly, only to that 85, 90% time, that becomes the new normal. So
That's
you
your
would
ceiling
never-
at that
That's the
point.
ceiling.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Don't
like the
do this to your
old-
battery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is your solution here?
So again, we have straight lithium converters, and then we have our new lithium switch converters. Our lithium switch converters have been out for about a year right now, but we're just now really starting to get all the inventory in of them. And of course, with what we've been dealing with the last year, it's
Right.
been more difficult.
Sure.
So our lithium converters, when you install that, you're dealing with a lithium battery and a lithium battery only. It's only going to charge at the 13.6 and a 14.6 charge rhythm going to that battery.
It's not possible to charge a regular battery, or it's just going to do a substandard job.
If you have a lithium converter, you will overcharge a standard battery and eventually dry it out and boil it, and it'll be done.
That's danger zone. Let's not go there.
What?
Don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's pushing way too hard into that battery, and that's going to heat it up and boil it off, and then you got boiling
If you're
battery
using a
issues.
regular battery
With a lithium only
with a lithium converter.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So you'll
that's a
burn up
no-no.
your battery.
So you can
Well,
use a
that's
standard.
just dangerous. So
It is.
that's
It's just
not
gonna
even
cost-
anything you want to try or get
no.
connected to.
No. But then we had the new lithium switch, and what this is, it's a converter that actually has a toggle switch on our power centers that allow you to switch back and forth between lead acid and lithium.
Why would you want to do that?
Well,
And,
yeah. So,
Why is that even
so where
helpful?
this comes in handy, let's say you bought a new RV and you want solar and you want lithium batteries, you want to work. So you've spent a lot of money on lithium batteries.
Good investment, by the way.
Good investment. Mm-hmm. You change your converter over, so it's a lithium converter. 6 years down the road, you decide that you don't need lithium batteries anymore
Crazy person.
because you're either trading it in or it's gotten older and it's not working. So you want to go back. You don't want to invest in lithium batteries again or 10 years down the road. So you want standard batteries. This allows you just to switch back to normal converter for
As easy as
standard
that.
battery, as easy as that. Otherwise, you'd be changing out the whole converter.
I assume that you have had in the past a lithium converter that's exclusive lithium. Is that correct?
correct.
So what's the price difference between the exclusive lithium, the one that can only do lithium?
Lithium.
Yeah. English is my first language. So the one that can just do lithium and the one that can do switch between both. What's the price difference?
It's very minimal.
Okay.
There's really not.
What does minimal mean to you?
And again, I would be thinking from a distributor's cost point versus retail.
Well,
so I would say
So double that number. What's retail? I mean, retail, is it going to be $100? Is it going to be $500?
No.
Are we talking $20?
No, you're looking. I mean, a standard converter, again, depending on size, and I'll take our most common size,
Sure.
55 amp. That's the
Okay.
most common size that we do on everything that we offer.
Okay.
So our suggested retail price on a 55 amp would be somewhere right around $300 for a
Okay.
standard.
Okay.
And then to go to a lithium version, you'd be looking at about $310. That's it. It's very, very minimal.
So pretty much the same
price.
cost plus a hamburger.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. That's
Yeah.
nothing. That's
No.
not really a
Yeah.
cost difference.
For those who have a trailer that is a beloved trailer, they plan on it being the trailer for quite some years ahead. And they bought it 3 years ago with a standard WFCO product that didn't have the conversion switch in the back. Do your new models that have the conversion switch, are they direct replacement? Plug and play almost?
No.
Okay.
So
Tell me more.
That is, and there's a multitude of reasons why, but the quick and dirty answer is no, we don't right now. But there's a way around that. So we don't offer just our main board assembly is the most common thing that goes wrong with a converter. It's the lower half of a unit, and generally most people they replace the lower half.
Okay.
So we do have a straight lithium main board assembly that can be put into a standard converter
Okay.
and make it straight lithium.
I see.
What? Okay.
So
You just replace the board.
It's a little,
Just replace the lower
Yeah,
half.
you're taking the brain out,
Yep.
put the brain in, but
exactly.
it's only standard converter, no lithium, or lithium. It's one or
Exactly.
the other, no switch.
No switch.
But that can be installed into a already installed converter.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to take it a step further, and this will be somewhat confusing. So the lithium switch, you can't just buy just the lower half, that main board assembly. We don't offer just that.
So you could switch that out, but you don't sell it that way.
But what you can do is buy the entire power center, which is your distribution panel and your converter in one box.
Okay.
And then you take out the brains, the main board assembly, take out the fuse panel, and put those into your existing power center in the existing RV, and you've made it a lithium switch. Because this toggle switch is on the fuse panel, so you have to take that with you. And then you need the brains that does both lithium and standard conversion to go into the lower half.
So why wouldn't you just switch the whole thing?
Because of time. To change out that lower half and that fuse panel, it's not that long to do it. I mean, it's say 30 minutes tops to change out that entire box and take out all the wiring and everything goes on. You're looking at probably an hour and a half to 2 hours to really change out the entire thing.
Okay,
Right.
so they connect the same.
Yeah.
It just wouldn't be as efficient.
Exactly.
Okay. Is there anything on the top half of that box that's going to deteriorate?
No.
It's going to do just fine.
You may have a breaker. I mean, but again, a breaker is going to go bad one way or the other. But generally, they don't.
Okay.
Like I said, if something goes wrong, 90% of the time, if something goes wrong with our converter, it's that lower half, that main board assembly that has to be replaced.
Okay.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I'm just picky. I think I'd change the whole thing out and pay the labor on the 2 hours just so I could start with
I
everything
understand that.
new.
Yeah.
But that's how I am.
understand
I
that.
would be
Just
that.
worry
I
that
would be that
something's
guy.
wrong. Yes.
You know, and I get what you're saying because I've
Yeah.
seen that top half. It's basically a breaker panel.
Yeah.
But I would be like, yeah, replace it all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like whole shiny new things.
Yeah. I like all.
Not Frankenstein shiny new things.
Yeah.
So,
But it's nice to know that it's possible.
But there's customers that would just want to do that because it's quick and
Especially
easy.
do-it-yourselfers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You
'cause
know?
that's my next question. Is this something that a DIY person should be doing, or is this someone you should really be bringing in?
We don't recommend any do-it-yourselfers just because it is electrical.
Right.
We
Right.
recommend taking it to a certified dealer, let them do. I'll tell you, when I first got out of college, my first boss told me, he says, remember one thing for the rest of your life. He says, there's experts in every field for a reason. And he says, let them do what they do. And I've always kept that in the back of my mind. So if I need electrical work done, I'm going to have an electrician do it. Or in this case, I'd have a tech do it. A plumber, I'm going to have a plumber do it. I'm not going to
Yeah.
do it because that's not what I'm an expert at.
Okay.
So we recommend get an expert to do this. There's going to be the do-it-yourself guys who can do it and
Right.
have done it.
Yes.
But we're going to recommend everybody come into a dealership and let them do what they're experts at.
Okay.
Well, we see a lot of the do-it-yourselfers that are just super smart and really good at this type of thing and could do it probably, easily without any complications. So I don't want it to sound like a plug for a dealership. However, we also see those people who try to do it yourself and then they bring us a pile and say,
right.
not sure why it's not working, but
it smells funny.
Yeah.
here you go.
Well-
and we're like, okay. So in which case, you end up having to switch out everything because you
Yes.
don't know what they did. So, I get what you're saying. I don't want it to sound like we're plugging for dealerships, but this, if you get one little thing wrong, then you can fry your
the
whole
thing.
system.
Correct.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
generally, when we have a converter sent back to WFCO because something's gone wrong with it, our engineers, they can go through their step-by-step process and they can identify pretty easily what was done. And generally,
This
it's-
paperclip, wrong.
Yeah.
All wrong.
And generally, we find out that it is the customer error and something that they have done that has fried the unit or made it go bad.
We see that a lot here, and we're like, it would have saved us an hour of diag if you just
told us.
that you did this.
Yes.
And they're like, well, we didn't think that was the problem.
What did the guy tell us yesterday about the laundry plug?
We had a customer that wired up a laundry plug into an RV to plug into his house. It fried the converter.
Yeah, which happens
Well,
actually
of
pretty
course.
often.
Yes.
Yeah, because
We actually
Really?
tell
That's
people
a common thing?
do not plug this into your dryer plug.
because it looks right.
It
And even an
looks the
electrician,
same.
Yes.
you give your brother-in-law electrician, this is the plug that I'm using, and they'll say, I know that plug.
Yeah.
And,
Yes.
and it looks right, it fits right, it's not right.
Nope. Not right.
Well, I just got to say, after the freeze last week, you can talk to my wife and she will tell you I'm no plumber. I got the call that just said, just call the plumber. Just stop it. So everything I fixed doesn't work.
Oh,
So
no.
plumbers are coming.
There you go. So are you still using bathtub water?
We finally got out of the snow melted bathtub water. And, but yeah, that was a good fix for a while.
So something that your engineers might want to design into future products is, you remember the old operation game where it buzzes when you hit
Yeah.
something wrong. Just build this into your product so when the DIY people are busting into their converters, it buzzes at them every time they hit something wrong.
Yeah, well, when you look,
Red nose
we've
and
added
everything.
reverse polarity fuses in all of our products now. So we've tried
Good.
to stop,
Save the unit, mitigate how far the problem can go.
That is
Good.
definitely something we've taken in consideration over the years.
I just need a buzz and a red nose.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, and if you look, I mean, on most of our power centers, you have a red indicator light. If you blew that fuse,
Yeah.
that red light comes on, so it tells you exactly.
It needs
where
to say you blew it.
Yeah.
And buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there, from a size standpoint, if someone were to do what Gary wants to do, will that space in your RV take the whole new unit? If you're like, I'm going to pay for the all new unit to go where my original unit goes, it's the same dimensions?
Everything is identical with exception of the guts. So when you get into the brain and then that fuse panel are the exact same thing that you've got in there now.
Okay.
Okay,
Very
let me
doable.
be sure. If you have a converter, certainly it's a certain size converter, maybe that runs the
Yeah.
regular batteries. I have the plain Jane trailer.
Okay.
It's
No,
not
you
set
don't.
up for-
I know your
if
trailer.
if I did, that is true. I feel like I won the lottery here. Yeah, whole nother story. We're talking converters here. If you have a trailer that has a basic converter and you're not set up for lithium,
Okay.
and you want to switch to lithium, and you've switched to the lithium converter, is it the same size as the standard
Correct.
converter?
Yep.
And then if you say, I want the dual switch, what do you call it?
The lithium switch.
The lithium switch converter, then it's all the same size.
All the same size,
All
yeah.
three of them.
Yep.
And
the
in
same.
general, they drop right in the same place.
And you can even vary in the amperage of how big of the converter you want. Now, to a certain degree, and now on the power centers, they're pretty much all going to be the exact same size, 35 to 75. You get into the deck mounts, they vary a little bit in size, so it may be a slight difference.
What does a deck mount mean?
All right, so we have power centers and we have deck mount converters. They're all converters. A power center is going to be an all-inclusive box that has your distribution panel in it, and then have your converter in one box.
Okay.
A deck mount converter is a freestanding converter, and then you actually have a separate distribution panel.
Oh, I've seen some builds like
tied
this.
together.
Yeah.
Your
So-
breakers are over there.
Yeah,
Your converter's over here.
Exactly. Yeah, and generally you try to keep them as close together. But at OEM, when they put in a trailer together, they're looking for space, and they just say, "Okay,
Right.
I'm gonna stick the converter underneath the bed. I'm gonna put the distribution panel underneath the actual in a storage compartment."
Yeah.
So they all do the exact same thing. They look slightly different just because the distribution panel is not in the same box as the deck mount,
Okay.
but they operate the exact same way. And as far as going from standard to lithium switch, all the same sizes.
What percentage of manufacturers are using the deck mount? Is it a lot?
Ooh, you know what? I don't know that.
But is it like less than half? Is it 10 to 20%? Is it?
Gary, you brought in an expert.
Well, he's not a statistician, which is always what I want to know.
Yeah.
Because I don't see a lot of those. I mean, I know
don't
they're out
either.
there,
I've
but
seen
we
a
don't
few.
see them.
Yeah,
So-
I really don't even have an idea of how many. I know we sell a lot of deck mount converters in a year. I mean, if you take our top 4 SKUs, and it's something we always talk about when we're out making
Of
calls,
course.
it's all 55 amp. And it goes our power center, or actually first our main board assembly. Our main board assembly, because again, that's the thing. If something goes wrong, generally that's what you're replacing. And then it goes into our deck mount, the 55 amp. Then you go to our entire power center, and then it goes to our universal replacement kit called our RAP,
RAP.
that we have. Those are our 4 most popular SKUs that we sell, and that order all in 55 amps.
So I got to think that percentage is pretty far up there.
It should be, I would think. I wouldn't say, I would think it'd be below 50%, just because I know what we do in the main board assemblies is probably twice as many as we do in the deck mounts. So I would think that number would be somewhere probably more 20 to 30% in the deck mounts.
And here again, I'll just say if all of these names and descriptions have gotten a little wonky in your head the past 2 minutes, just go to your website
Yes.
and it will all spell it out. And
Yep.
help us to understand.
Detailed directions
Yeah.
on, it shows you wiring diagrams. It shows you color coded what goes where. I mean,
And
it goes,
some people love that, and some people just want to know what's it going to take to get lithium.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
that's all. So both of those are pretty self-explanatory on your website.
Yes.
The website is very handy. When we brought this line on and started, all of a sudden when Todd's not with me, I have to be the expert. So that website helped tremendously.
Yes.
Going in and looking at that. And
You have to
setting
learn
that.
as you go.
They really basic it down to understand it, because they have to do that because it's on a website where everybody's looking at. It's not an electrical engineer.
Yeah.
So
right.
it's huge. They really basic it down for you.
Okay, so a customer comes in and they say, like I said, had this for a few years, this trailer. I want to move to a solar and a lithium setup. And obviously this is mostly on the lithium side of things. It's not doing with solar and stuff like that. What would that be? They come to the service center and they're looking for terms. What do they ask for? What do I want to do? I want lithium. And service center needs to say what?
So they're going to, number one, they're going to ask them if they already have lithium batteries or not.
Okay.
That's the first thing. Again, so our standard converters will charge lithium batteries, but they never charge them again to 100%. So
Right.
that's why the lithium converter is important to have.
Right.
So they're going to come in, they're going to ask them first, do you have lithium batteries already? All right. If you don't, then we need to get lithium batteries. You need to pick out which batteries, how many batteries, and what are you going to put in there? And then we're going to need to coincide, look at the existing converter, figure out what you have in there. Is it 55? Is it 65, 75? And then we need to get you a lithium converter at least the same size. You can always go up, but you can't go down with a converter.
So you can have headroom. You could have a much bigger converter.
Yes.
And it won't matter.
Well, and this is something I just recently learned from and going through one of our trainings is that we recommend you can go up, but always look at the gauge of wire, because a gauge of wire sometimes is
It can
not,
bottleneck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you got the adequate wire gauge in order to go up significantly higher than what you have in there now. But then once they've identified what amp they want, then it's just a matter of placing an order and then changing it out. And again, you have your different variations. You've got the power centers, you've got the deck mounts, and those are all available in the three different classes that we've talked about: standard, lithium, and lithium switch.
Is number of lithium-ion batteries in your battery bank going to matter? Is size of lithium-ion batteries going to matter?
Yes and no, but generally you're only going to be, if you've got an existing converter in there, you're only going to have so much space for the batteries anyway. And you really need to have the appropriate amperage to run the items that you have in your RV.
Right.
And as long as you're not, exceeding, you're not adding another air conditioner, you're not adding a residential refrigerator.
Right.
Those different things you have to take in consideration. But generally what you have in there is going to be adequate. And if you decide you want to go up, that's just giving you more amperage available for the unit.
Okay.
And this is where I'll say that's where a dealer can help you.
Absolutely.
99% of everybody listening is not going to be as well versed on this as your dealer. And so it's really good to find out what it's going to take to get where you want to go. And that's where a good dealer should be able to help you with that.
Absolutely.
But I think every decision needs to be at least based on the knowledge of what's out there.
Yes.
So I've learned a lot about what's out there, why it's important, and now we can, you can go into a dealership now, hopefully after listening to what Todd has to say.
Sure.
And know what they're telling you and know what to ask for. Know what's important.
Correct.
Yeah.
Good. I love it when I learn something. It is so exciting.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Is there anything else about WFCO or new products or converters that we need to know?
Not right now. Like I said, we're always looking for new and innovative ways and new products. We hope to have new products out every year. It's always a goal. So hopefully the future is something newer, more innovative, and easier.
Well, I tell you what, lithium has changed the game over the last year. I mean, literally changed the industry. So it'll be interesting to see how that evolves. And glad to hear about your newest product. I think it's awesome.
Thank you. We appreciate the time being here today, and I appreciate your efforts and getting the word out to everybody about the products. And like I said, we're here to help. Like I said, the 800 number that we talked about earlier, feel free to use it yourself, pass it on to the retail customers, and I'll make sure that you have all the links for the website and get you to where you need to be to take care of the customers.
Good. Gary, good job bringing him in.
I tell you what,
I know. Keep it up,
I'm excited
Gary.
to bring Todd in. It's going to be. He set the bar. I don't know who I'm bringing in next.
Well, so how do you pay him off with like Round Rock donuts and
Yeah, it's got to take him to Round Rock Donuts since I live here. And then,
It has to be food because, as you noticed, he doesn't drink coffee. All right, so
he loves barbecue. So tomorrow we're going to Salt Lick and Driftwood.
okay,
Ooh,
that's
Driftwood.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm taking him to the original one.
Beer and barbecue.
that's
There's nothing
that's where my
better.
wife and I had our rehearsal dinner before our
Is
wedding.
that right? Yeah, good.
Well, it is a staple. There is one right here in Round Rock.
Yeah,
I know, but I want to take
it's
him to the
just
original.
Not the
Yeah.
same.
It's not the same.
Gary always treats me well when we travel together. He calls ahead and says, "Do you like this food? Do you like this food?" He makes sure that I'm fed well.
Good. Well, and then if there's another night, you can take him to the original County Line.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, that's a
because
great
County
place.
Line's really everywhere. I think it's even in Japan and crazy stuff
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I don't know, but
Well, you
I
passed
like
by one
Line
in the
started-
airport.
yeah, County Line started right here,
I
just
like
sitting on the deck.
I like the original one because you can feed the turtles out back.
I do too. I do too.
Carnivorous
I do too.
turtles.
The fat turtles at County Line.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and I'm glad we got to meet you. We'll see you next
Very
round.
nice to meet you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Don't be a stranger.
Thanks for letting us be here.
Lindsay, I have to admit, your questions were spot on while Todd was here.
I came up with them all by myself.
They, I was thinking those questions, but you worded them so well.
But honestly, listening to you guys, I learned a lot when I didn't even think I wanted to know that stuff.
I have to admit that piece of equipment in particular, I just want to, I want to know that something's doing its job. I don't want to know that it's there. I don't even want to hear the fan kick on. I understand why it needs to.
That's how most people feel about it. Just
Right.
do your job, stay over there, and don't bother me.
Yeah.
So it was good to talk to Todd, good to learn a little bit, and now, now we know.
because I do want lithium-ion. I do want solar. I do want all these updated things. I need that converter to come along for the ride. Come up to date.
Come on, converter.
to these times, and that was fantastic. And to know that there's options to make what you have, with some work, make what you have work, or to get OEM or whatever, it's going the right direction.
But you know what? I bet someone out there still has a question about converters, and I want to make sure they get that answered.
Yeah, I'm going to give you Todd's email and phone number.
No, but you can email
Sorry,
us
Todd.
at rvsmalltalk@gmail.com. Send us any questions that we didn't answer so we can go ahead and get that cleared up. Send us pictures of your camping trip. Send us what you want to hear about on our
Right.
next podcast. That is rvsmalltalk@gmail.com. You can also connect with us on Facebook at RV Small Talk community page. Again, just sharing camping pictures, asking questions, talking gear, all the things. Come join us. It's really fun.
And if you enjoy our podcast, we would absolutely appreciate it if you could go on Apple Podcast and rate and review us.
5 stars.
That makes a world of difference in getting our podcast out there so more people can listen to us and connect with us. We would love that. Thank you so much.
That's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us. Check out all of our episodes at rvsmalltalk.com, and we will be seeing you next time.
Stay humid.
Okay. So I was a cool guy in my 93 Dodge Dynasty
What?
when I was in high school.
You were the cool guy?
Yeah, and
sure?
I absolutely, you can't convince
Just like
me
the type
otherwise.
of cool guy
If
that
you
thinks
deem
he's
yourself
cool.
so.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, that's pretty much anyone, right? So So I was that guy. But not only was I in my blue Dodge Dynasty that we bought at auction from the power company, but I grew up in, South Texas town where big trucks or really blingy lowered cars with big shiny rims and spikes coming off of them and windows down. Everything had windows down with music pumping out of them. Well, my music out of my completely stock 93 Dodge Dynasty that I bought at auction from the power company, it was pretty happening.
Rattle, rattle.
Yeah. My music was the best of Glenn Miller.
You are kidding me.
I played the ever-loving.
Wait, isn't Glenn Miller the...
Oh,
You got it. I was that guy. And you know what? I was having such a fun time laughing at myself being that guy that I would crank it up on purpose to have that kind of fun. Y'all didn't hear the story because you're too busy. It's such a catchy tune. And every bit of big band music seems to be that happy. You know?
That's boogie music.
Well,
Boogie music?
Boogie woogie.
My Spotify doesn't have that genre as an option.
it doesn't have boogie music.
No, it doesn't have
Unfortunately.
buggy
It
music.
has buggy music.
It probably
It's a
has
kid
that.
station.
Boogie music.
It has Glenn Miller. It has big band.
Yeah.
I
know.
was
I've
that
seen that.
guy. I was totally that guy.
Oh, man.
I was having such a blast laughing at myself and laughing at what others must have been thinking when I pulled up at a stoplight next to them, blasting big band.
Like this?
No, I didn't have anything. I actually did my best because I was tall at that point too. I did my best
you
to
slink
sit
down in the chair?
slink down and put on my sunglasses and like just kind of stare ahead, like thinking, I wonder what they must be imagining, but never actually seeing their face because you don't want to look.
No, you don't want to make eye contact. No.
Well, in the 70s here in Austin, you know what was playing in the 70s. I mean, it certainly
wasn't here.
wasn't
No, I
anything
don't.
cool. It was, screaming rock bands. So a really popular band, Paul Ray, who is on, what's he on? He's not
Acid,
on NPR.
because that's what everyone
No,
else
he's
is
a
on.
DJ now.
yeah. He's on KUTX.
Yes, thank you. KUTX. I couldn't think of it.
When?
But
What time?
Stop.
But he had a band, and it was Paul Ray and the Cobras.
Okay.
And they were so cool because they had this huge horn section.
Like all sousaphones?
No, not all sousaphones.
Well, huge horns. I mean,
but
Sousaphone
Contrabassoons.
only.
a very cool horn section. And it was so much fun to go see because they were it was kind of big band.
It was like original
swing,
ska.
Mitch meets kind of fun rock and roll.
it sounds like original ska, like the
And
foundation of
so
ska.
Right?
It was
Well, back in my day,
cool. Uh-oh.
when we used to go
Your day.
downtown.
Up in your day. Up in your
We
day.
used to go downtown. There was a band called the
How do you spell that?
Minor Mishap Marching Band.
What?
I like it already.
And
I do too.
And it was
Google it.
It was a group of probably like 15 people, and they all had band instruments, but they didn't like play shows. They would just
March. And
walk up and down the middle of 6th Street, like on Friday and Saturday nights, especially on the east side, and play. And then
man.
people would like just follow them, and
Is it kinda
everybody
like-
would like kind of jam out and like walk down the street, and then they would like turn around and walk the other way and keep playing.
It's
Tell-
probably
it's like
UT band geeks. There was so
Well,
many
maybe.
of them that played downtown.
They were not band geeks. The A-liner that picked up, Corinne and John,
Yeah.
he used to be part of the Minor Mishap Marching Band. Yeah.
Well, I don't know John's background, so I don't
But
know
he
where
also
he came
used
from.
to be part of the White Ghost Shivers, which was also a huge band in Austin.
Oh, well, of course.
And
We
then
used
he
to
moved
throw the
to
big
Oregon?
Halloween party every year.
they're in Oregon now?
Washington.
Washington?
Yeah. Anyway,
So when I picture this, I picture Austin version of what you would see in the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Is-
Basically,
is what
yeah.
I'm picturing. Is it kind of the same sound?
No, I mean, it's straight up like marching band. I'll play some for you. I mean, their music
Okay.
is on Spotify.
All right,
awesome.
then.
It sounds like somebody let a high school marching band loose
A good one. Oh, is that kind of fun?
I mean, it's not bad, but it's not like tight.
Okay,
you know,
so-
like it's sloppy and it's fun, and then they kind of go crazy for a little
And
bit.
with enough alcohol, it's
and then
great.
like they
Yeah.
like, oh, this guy just takes it away for a while in a solo, and then like people just like as you're coming out of bars or going into other bars
Yeah.
or getting out of the taxi or whatever, you just kind of like join, and then before you know it, there's just like a mass of people just like having a parade all the time.
So, did they have
It's a
their
lot of fun.
music memorized?
I
Because that
guess.
goes a long ways in
I
the
don't-
feel and the fun of it. Because
I
you're
don't
able to just-
remember there being like
Like a-
them having
Oh,
like
yeah.
a little
They
stands on
wouldn't
there.
have
I don't
that.
remember that.
Yeah.
and you know,
There wouldn't be enough light for it anyway.
Oh,
I'm
there.
sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really fun. And yeah, that
and
was
sometimes there doesn't need to be really music memorized. You just kind of know the tune and you're just playing
yeah,
along with it.
it was
Well,
just madness.
If you're a good enough musician and you're like, I know exactly where I am in the key.
Yeah, yeah.
But I
and
mean,
I'm pretty sure like the band members changed all the time.
sure.
It was like,
doesn't
hey, come along.
It doesn't sound like it was very lucrative.
I don't think that was the point of the exercise.
I don't think they won any Grammys.
Did anyone throw change at them?
I mean-
like, did it go into the horn? Like,
Probably.
there's change in your saxophone, sir.
I don't know. It was fun. All right.
All right. Well, we'll look it up here in a little bit.
I'll make you listen to it.
All right. That sounds like
Fantastic.
good Princess Craft music, like for our Spotify list that plays
Yeah,
during the
that
day.
should totally be the
Live.
Sunday playlist.
You would hate it. You'd
Sunday
be like, Lindsay,
playlist.
turn this off right now. This Sunday playlist. Just me sitting by myself in the middle of the floor with a trombone.
Oh, well,
Welcome.
Listen, I can make it sound like a horse. Woo!
I gotta shoot a video, y'all.
Oh, what did it do?
But this is
How
so
did it wrong
fun.
you?
Is it?